Alright, we got another Hasbro Pulse live stream, more reveals, let's check it out. I'm going to try to go in vaguely the same order as the live stream, so starting off we'll look at the Studio Series Rise of the Beast stuff, and we finally got to see the leader class Optimus Primal, and this guy looks so cool, at least I think so. The Beast Mode Gorilla form I think looks very good, I really like the head sculpt. I guess there's not too much I can say, you know, it looks like a pretty decent gorilla mode, but I dig this a lot. I'm really liking what we're seeing here. And the robot mode looks great. You can still tell where it's based more so on the concept art. He has his swords with a chain connecting them, which again I think this is from an earlier version of the design and the movie itself, because I don't believe he had the chain in the final movie, but it was in that first trailer that came out for the movie. And I really dug the whole swords being connected by a chain thing, so I'm happy to see it here. And the chain itself does look kind of but hey, it's still kind of cool that it's there. Swords look good. Just everything about Primal looks good. Again, I think the head sculpt is awesome. Don't recall if they said there was going to be anything with a full-on separate head or swappable face, just because I would like it if he actually had the full-on faceplate. But still, he looks good. The only possible gripe I could really have for this guy is that you can see the gorilla feet on the back of the shins. And even then, that's not really anything that's bad per se. Everything else looks good. I think this is going to be a very cool figure. He also comes with Optimus Prime's axe, so that's pretty cool. Obviously, that'll be going to the Voyager Optimus, but pretty cool that they included it. Rounding out the Rise of the Beast stuff, we got the Deluxe Mirage, and you know, for what he is, I honestly feel like he's alright. The Porsche mode I feel like is pretty spot on. Sure, maybe you could complain about some of the seam lines and whatnot, but otherwise the Porsche mode looks great. And then again, for what it is, I think the robot mode's pretty good. I feel like it looking off is a combination of this being their first attempt at the design, it being based off of an earlier, you know, concept art design, and I feel like this is one of those designs that just might not really lend itself well to being a transforming toy, at least at a smaller scale like this. It was noted that they are at least updating the head sculpt, or at least the face sculpt, to be more movie accurate, which that's pretty cool. I don't think this will be a bad figure. It might not be the best Mirage, especially for full-on movie accuracy, but for what it is, I think it'll be fun. And I really wouldn't be surprised if in a few years they do more accurate figures from Rise of the Beast. Yeah, for right now, looks good. Now we'll move on to the legacy stuff, and kind of like usual, there's not too much here that I really care about, but hey, I like to cover them regardless. But starting off with things I don't care about, there's the core class Optimus Prime and Bumblebee 2-pack. Optimus Prime comes with his trailer. This is a Pulse exclusive. It's pretty neat, especially for those that collect the smaller figures. I don't really care, so it doesn't do anything for me. Then there's the core class Snarl, who I think this is the one that rounds out all of the core class Dinobots, but I don't think Snarl looks too bad. The Stegosaurus form looks a little janky, but G1 Snarl in his Stegosaurus mode is pretty janky, especially if you're going for the cartoon look. So I think it works, and the robot mode looks pretty solid. I think this will be the best one along with Swoop. At least there's 2 out of the, what, 5 or 6? I can't remember how many are a part of this team here that at least look kind of good. So again, not for me, but I'm glad it's looking pretty solid. And we got to see the full combined form with Volcanicus, which I think looks pretty solid. I'm not going to say it's the best combined mode ever, but hey, I think it's pretty good for what it is. Moving on up to the deluxe classes, there's the Cyberverse Shadow Striker, and you know, I think she's a solid alright. That's being kind of generous if I'm being completely honest. I'm sure she'll be a great Robots in Disguise sideburn, but I don't know, man. It's like her limbs seem so just scraggly, and the chest is kind of bulky along with the back panels. Just, I don't know, the robot mode's kind of but you know, I don't think the vehicle mode looks bad. It's maybe a little plain, but I think it's fine. Dang, it just hit me. I did this in the opposite order I usually do. Did robot and then vehicle. Well, whatever, I guess. Shows how iffy I am on that robot mode. I may go for this because I do like the Shadow Strike character, and I feel like this could be decent, but I don't know. Some of the proportions just seem a little off. Next up is the Deluxe Insecticon Bombshell. He's another one that I think just kind of looks alright. I haven't been collecting these Insecticons, so this doesn't do much for me. The insect mode, if you can really call it that, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think this looks good. I can't really remember what G1 Bombshell looked like in his insect mode off the top of my head in either toy form or the cartoon.
One Google search later.
Well, I mean, I guess it's not that far off. I don't really care. I still don't think this looks that great. And then the robot mode, I think it looks fine for the most part. Kind of looking at the robot mode, I'm like, oh, this isn't one I wouldn't mind having. But then just having that weird cover and I guess gun on top of his head is accurate, but it doesn't look really like how it's supposed to. And I think it just comes off as really goofy. Like he's wearing a really odd and kind of ugly birthday hat. I don't know, the robot mode's okay and the insect mode is certainly a mode, but I don't really think I'm feeling this. I don't know. Who knows, maybe the robot mode, at least looking a little decent aside from the dumb looking hat, might kind of get me to get it. Just right now, this isn't doing it for me. And then there's the Deluxe Strong Arm, the Robots in Disguise 2015 character. She's a reshell of the Legacy Alita 1 / Minerva mold. She looks okay, she just comes off as very flat. Like, I don't know, it's just like the legs seem oddly thin and kind of flat. The chest seems flat, and no, that's not a joke about lack of a bust or something like that. The head sculpt seems kind of big and goofy, and then her like truck mode is just very wide. I'm pretty sure that does come from being a reshell of that Alita 1 mold though. But I mean, I don't think it's bad aside from being a little pancaked. And I guess that's my thoughts on this in general. This is one that I likely will get because I do like the character. So I'm definitely going to give this a shot. It's just not giving me exactly the best first impressions, I guess you could say. And moving on to the last deluxe, there is Detritus, who should be a repaint of Hound, but is technically coming out first. I think this looks kind of ugly if I'm being completely honest. I don't know, I'm just not really a fan of this color scheme. Apparently he'll have both Autobot and Decepticon logos going by some info here, so that's pretty cool, I suppose. It's not a bad looking mold or anything, I just don't really think the colors are all that great. But hey, it's certainly different, so I'll give it that. Now we're moving on to the Voyager figures, and first up there's Bludgeon, and I'm conflicted on this because I think this looks good, but it's also pretty fucking lame, I'm not gonna lie. Because this is legit just Tarn with a new head and colors. Granted, I think it looks pretty good. Part of me feels like the tank mode maybe looks a little wacky with the colors, but it works for me in a weird way. And then the robot mode does look good. I like the sword, the new head sculpt, the great articulation that the Tarn mold has is really being shown here, and I do dig it. I was just hoping for a bit more remolding, I suppose, which, you know, back in like the early days of Generations and whatnot, we used to get these kind of things of, oh hey, it's a new head and repaint, so it's not like this is unheard of, far from it. It's just one of those things where even with the new head and colors and even the extra weapon, I still feel like this looks a little too much like Tarn. Just some more visual differences really would have helped it in my opinion. Despite all that, I'm probably still gonna get this. I love Bludgeon, and it looks good for what it is. I guess I just wish it did a little more. And then there's the Voyager class Trash Master, who I think looks okay. The truck form I think looks pretty good. You know, it fits right in with all of the Legacy Junkions they've done so far. And maybe it's the fact that it's a Junkion truck, but it kind of gives me animated Wreck-Gar vibes. Can't recall if they mentioned that or not. It's probably not intentional, but hey, it still kind of reminds me of it. Yeah, I think the truck mode's fine. Then the robot mode's pretty interesting. I dig the sort of claw hand, and he really looks kind of stumpy. I'm kind of going all in on these Legacy Junkions, so I'm down for this guy. And you know, he keeps the gimmick with the other Legacy Junkions of being able to switch around parts. You can see here that he has the front bit from Scraphook, so that's pretty neat. So I'll definitely be getting this guy. Then moving on up to the leader class, there's the Prime Universe DREADWING. And what you know, it's the Skyquake mold in different colors with a remolded gun. And hey, I'm okay with that. I really like the Skyquake mold, and I love these colors, and I like the jet mode as is, so I don't really have too much to say there. The robot mode I think looks pretty damn good in these colors. I'm a bit biased since blue's my favorite color, but still. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for this guy. I'm definitely gonna get him. Looks cool. Then they showed off the Legacy 2-pack with Ironhide and Prowl, which this is figures of their death, which I find pretty rad and kind of savage. I almost want to get these to go with the Amazon exclusive Earthrise Prime, where he's just gray and dead. I don't know, I just dig those morbid kind of figures like that. I'm not sure if I will go for these, but hey, it's a neat option. But the figures look pretty solid. Too bad we couldn't get a remolded Prowl with his head glowing like a freaking jack-o'-lantern as his insides freaking burn up. But I do dig it, especially with the paint and stuff they did to give them the battle damage. It does look like a pretty solid set. I just, again, find it very funny. Then there's a 4-pack that I just realized I am woefully unprepared for because I don't really remember who any of these characters are or what the name of the pack even is. Oh lord. Do I care enough to check though? Not really. I know there's the Quintesson Bailiff, so that's kind of neat. There's a Seeker who really could just be Thundercracker. Is it Thundercracker? If I remember correctly, it's supposed to just be a regular Seeker. And then there's 2 dudes. Yeah. One's an Auto Trooper, isn't it? Or Auto Rooper? Whatever, man. It's a neat looking pack for what it is, but it's not one that I'm going for, so. Then we got the Volvo Optimus Prime, who may or may not be the originally intended use of the Holiday Prime mold, and I dig this. It looks pretty good in the traditional Prime colors. It has kind of your typical typical G1 trailer. The truck looks good in the red. It's maybe a little too red. It's probably as dumb as that kind of sounds, but I also kind of prefer Optimus to be a long-nosed truck, so I think this looks good. The robot mode looks really good in his typical colors. The head especially looks very cool. Yeah, this looks like a solid Optimus. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get it just because even though it is pretty neat, it is also just kind of another Optimus Prime, and I already have the Holiday Optimus, so I'm not really sure I feel the need, but we'll see. This does look good. And then last but not least, we have a Generation Selects figure. I can't recall if they said the name, so is this Antigone? I'll be honest, I don't remember. It's a repaint of the Legacy Inferno mold, black, purple, sort of a raspberry color, and as with a lot of toy repaints, looks good in black. The amp mode especially, I think, really shines with it being black. It looks good. Purple and everything works. And then the robot mode's the same thing. It looks good. And you can maybe say things look a bit plain since it's just those few colors, but I like it. And then the neat thing is it actually comes with a swappable head. That's the Transmetal 2 Scavenger head from the original Beast Wars line, and I think that's very cool to give that option. I'm not entirely sure if this is one that I'll go for, but I really wouldn't mind because I like this mold a lot and I really dig these colors. So yeah, that was the live stream. There's a lot of pretty cool stuff here. Definitely some things I'm not really as interested in, but hey, that's with any live stream. Definitely going for the movie stuff, and there's a decent bit of legacy stuff I'm going for. Definitely gets me a little excited for what we got coming for the rest of the year. But tell me, what was your favorite thing from the live stream? What are things that you're definitely going to get, or what are some of the things that you're going to pass on? Let me know down in the comments. As always, I want to give a big thanks to everyone for watching, and have a good one.